Ready?
No. Live! Welcome everyone back to session 14 of Forbidden Lands. My god, we're at session 14, folks. How is
Lucky
everyone tonight?
14.
Excellent.
Good.
So, introduction of everyone in case someone has joined us who hasn't seen us before. To the left on your screen, you have Josh.
Hey folks, I play Braynar, the half-elf frailer sorcerer.
I'm Jessica, and I play Frida, the Wolfkin fighter.
I'm Chris. I play Soren, who despite losing pride twice, am actually good in the woods.
I'm Big. I am the halfling bard. I try and talk my way out of things. Usually I get into it.
Well, you've talked your way out of something.
Oh, no, I mean enemies I talk my way out of. It's the party I'm getting worse with.
And I'm Mike B, playing Celestial Passage, the half-elf druid. And messing with my camera.
Well, somebody's got. All right, so last time we left off. Before we get into that, I always mix up my order on this. I don't know why. Shout out to Hellhag Productions who've done the overlays, and you should all know that this show is rated R. Forbidden Lands is fantasy meets Western, and very much calibrated, kind of like if Quentin Tarantino directed it. So if you've seen The Hateful Eight or Django, you know how this will go, just about. Those are the kinds of scenes we can expect. It is a cruel world, these Forbidden Lands, because they are cursed, as the intro makes clear. Right, so we left off session 13 with you arriving in Reddale. This strange ruffian type of outpost on the lake, with orcs and dwarves and some humans mixed in, and you got there after having traveled away from the Eye of the Rose. You have a job to do now. You have, in fact, someone who has given you a quest. And maybe that was an unlikely person, because it was Empress Soria of the Urher clan of orcs.
And we've already run afoul of opposition.
Indeed. On the way, that's why it took a while to get to Reddale, even though it only took a day in the world. It took a few hours to deal with that, because apparently people were after you. Namely, Rust Brother agents.
I don't know if we can call them people when they have tentacles and stuff.
I mean...
I have a tail. That doesn't make me any less of a person.
Yeah, but your people score goes down by however many limbs you have. You're
Extra.
teetering.
Teetering.
I'll remember that the next time you're in trouble.
I'll just be a teeter-totter. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they were not normal humans. This is true. Something had been done to them. Yeah, Brennar did, I believe, or was it Celestial who described about these augmentations that the Rust Brothers... I think it was Brennar who remembered that.
Yep.
But be that as it may...
I wound up drawing a blank.
Be that as it may, you did make it to Reddale in one piece, and linked up there with Mog, the handmaiden of the Empress Soria, who has
Everyone's favorite.
assigned to go with you. Actually, she's not the one with yellow eyes. That was the other one. My mistake.
That's why she's everyone's favorite. I wasn't being sarcastic.
And you sent a message back to the Eye of the Rose through a local agent, and you ran into a dwarf who is apparently looking for a way to the Stone Loom Mines, and then you took all his money to go and look in the Stone Loom Mines for his lost companions, but told him in no uncertain terms that he's not coming with you. And that's basically where we left off, isn't it? It's going to be morning of the next day, which happens to be, I think it was the 24th, wasn't it? Let's see now. I have it right here. The 25th. Yes, indeed. We are the morning of the 25th of Springrise. So it's only another 20 days left of this month. Because, of course, in these Forbidden Lands, each month is 45 days long.
That's weird.
God, you weren't kidding when you said it was cursed.
I was not. And this nice morning, if we go back to that map, let's see now. What do I do? Ah, I see. There we go. This morning would be quite a sunny morning, which is lovely. You've had some rain before.
I was half expecting an accept when you said it that way. It'd be quite a sunny morning, except for the hurricane.
No, there's no hurricane, nothing like that.
I think this is the first actual nice day we've had.
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty, well.
I thought you always said that any day that we're heading back out into the wilderness is the next day.
Well, okay, it's the nicest weather we've had in a while. But speaking of heading back out into the woods, everybody ready?
Yes.
So
you
excited.
did need a rest because you got a bit banged up by those Rust Brothers. And I will recall that Celestial has still a bit of an ache in his foot from that arrow.
Yeah, it's going to take me a few days to fully heal that up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hang around for a few days then?
No, we have horses.
Oh, yeah.
You do have horses this time.
He can suck it up. He's a tough half-elf.
Yeah. And it doesn't really affect his travel times as much. If he does have to run away from bad guys, that's when it's going to affect him. I think you have like a -2 on the move or something.
Yeah, but I can just use Deer's Dash.
I mean, that's fair. It helps. Having magic available does help.
Yeah, out of here.
As is that a worst case scenario, I will pick you up and carry your ass.
Worst case, Ontario.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I guess we can make a Canadian joke about Ontario now. I don't know.
Too soon, eh?
Oh, okay. Anyhow, if I bring up the other map, the regional map, maybe you can decide how you want to get yourselves down to the Stone Loom Mines. With horses, you can go 6 hexes per open terrain hex. So that's quite a distance. You still only do 1 per day. So that's 2 quarter days of travel, counting with 1 quarter day for setting up camp and 1 quarter day for resting. If you go into rough terrain, so dense forest, mountains, it's still 1 hex per quarter day, so that would be like 2 for a full day's travel. So yeah, that's the speed it would be at.
I think our best option is to just follow the river, kind of southwesterly, probably for the better part of a day, and then head south into the forest, and then into the mountains, and then to the mines. That's probably the best. That way we can keep on top of our water because we're close to the river.
This is absolutely true. There was a reason why people used rivers to navigate and travel before the steam engine, etc. Has nothing to do with this. Anyway, it's morning. You can get your horses ready and leave town whenever. It's people are getting ready with the day, starting the cooking fires where needed, or the smithy fires, as the case may be. Getting their small makeshift stores. This town, Reddale, is very much like, I suppose Deadwood is a good reference. Slightly chaotic, all sorts of strange people coming and going. Don't really know if there is a captain of the guards or a sheriff or a mayor or a prince or something like that ruling over this place. You haven't seen any signs of it, but somehow they do make decisions, and somehow there are some people who are standing on the palisades and looking out with spears and swords. But compared to other places you've been, like Fort Riverstone, where there was a definite lady, and with Westport, that also had some kind of lord over it, Reddale seems a bit different.
So when we start to get prepared for the day, is Olim anywhere to be found?
I'm gonna say no.
You told him he could come with us, didn't you?
Because I was under the impression that he was not allowed to come with you.
No, he was coming with us, but he wasn't getting into the mines.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fair enough.
He's leading us to the mines.
Okay, in that case, he will be ready to go. He has his crossbow. Trusty thing. Pets it.
Okay. So I'm ready when everybody else is.
I'm probably ready before everybody else.
That could happen.
I'm ready fairly early.
That means that you are now a party of 7, in fact. With Morgan Ulm. Ulm is dressed in very sturdy outdoors clothes. Fairly heavy boots. Good cloak. Has seen a lot of weather, that cloak has. Nothing particularly fancy. A bit of a leather jerkin, but otherwise practical person. It might even be so that Soren feels a little bit of kinship with this dwarf in terms of his just practical attitude to things. He's looking through his pack, making sure that he has the tools that you need to survive in the wilds.
Double check it for squirrels too, just in case.
No squirrels. His beard is fairly short crop for being a dwarf. Maybe it's easier to not get entangled in bushes that way. Or something.
Excellent. Somebody in the woods that can actually survive.
Seems like it. As such, he's used to go ahead of the rest of the group. But he will turn and say, so, where do you usually have an organized system when you're walking? Or should I be ahead? Should I be, I tend to do the scouting for my kin.
Well, normally when we travel Celestial Passage here has been our eyes. So, I don't know, Celestial, do you mind if he does it, or do you want to take a break, or?
No, we can always let him take the role for a while, see how well we do.
Very well.
And I'll find us the best path to go. And if we get the opportunity while we're traveling, if we need to resupply, we've got some hunters and some foragers. So.
That sounds good. I can help with hunting as well. And again, crossbow.
I'm not a fan. They're a little bit too unreliable.
What do you mean? I find it eminently reliable.
Well, I prefer the simplicity of a regular bow. Less moving parts.
That's true, so I suppose, but, well, it does pack a punch, I would say.
Yeah. Alrighty, so unless anybody has any objections that wants to go deep into the forest, I suggest we follow the river as far as we can.
Sounds good to me, says Ulm. You will notice that Mog is kind of the opposite of Ulm in this. Sure, she has her traveling clothes, like him, boots, but of finer material. Better curated leather, nicer cloth. And she certainly has, weapons on her. Now that you get a better look at her equipment, you will see that she has, in fact, a lot of weapons, which I'm sure that Frida will note. She has a scimitar on the side. She has a short bow that she's sort of put over her shoulder, and a whole bunch of daggers. Lots of daggers. She will probably be walking somewhere in the middle together with Brenar or Big.
Alrighty, and off we go.
Indeed. Do you want to move the token, should I?
I'll get it in a sec here. Off to a wonderful start. I will push that.
Utmost fate.
Yeah, that worked. You will not get lost on the way.
Alrighty.
So,
Some damage.
do so.
Take some bar.
There you go. Into the forest again. You leave Rebdale behind. You will notice that when you come to the edge of the forest, there are... This is a sort of used... It's a road in the same sense that the road went to the Eye of the Rose. People have walked here or traveled here with carts before. There isn't necessarily engineering about it. It's just has seen a lot of use. And packed earth trail that goes into the forest. And flanking this packed earth trail are two stone obelisks of some kind of fairly dark stone. Mog will look at them and say that this is where the Roka land starts. This is their sign.
I was about to ask.
That's the other orc clan, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be traveling through their lands. Well, it's really the borders between all three clans on this side of the river. It's anyone's guess who we'll meet. The Roka are complicated.
Complicated as in a weird system, or complicated as in they don't like to share?
General Archa has been a good leader for the Roka. Even we of the Urher agree with this. Strong, but fair. Just.
Okay.
But he's getting old. And rumor has it that there is a lot of people who want to show themselves as the most suitable successor. So, yes, it's complicated.
I see. Lovely. Okay.
So you never know who you're going to meet nowadays. They could be aggressive or friendly.
So, just like any other day then.
Yes, I suppose so. Are we saying that Ulm is doing the first scouting roll?
That is what we're currently saying.
And are we also saying, is he using the looking glass now?
I'd offer it to him.
You'll offer it to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he'll look at it and wonder. Oh.
You're a better man than I am.
Very useful tool, this.
Basically anything I can do to help our success and, also judge him on his capabilities.
Which you might have reason to. Are you telling me that I should push this? Because I might wreck the thing.
He can push it. It's okay. It's been damaged many times already.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've repaired it a couple of times now.
You have.
At this point, I think it's held together by chewing gum and baling wire.
Hey now, I do have like crafts 3.
Yeah, it's actually wood sap, not chewing gum. He succeeds.
Oh, there we go. Celestial passage. Maybe you should show him how to focus. Maybe that'll make a difference.
Oh, so that's how you do it. That did make a difference. It was so hard to see. You turn it around. Ah. Of course. Nah, he would know that. He's not a dumb dwarf. Now you start your march on this nice morning. You're making good headway through the forest. After a little while, the road forks, one following the river and another going into further into the forest, basically. But you will stick to the river. That's the plan.
Yep.
And it'll be, you've been on the march for, say, an hour perhaps, when Ulm is again holding up his the looking glass that he's borrowing, and then he's saying, "Wait, I can hear something." And he points in towards the forest that way. Someone is coming.
Well, I'll slow down on my horse.
Follow Soren's lead.
Yeah, kind of keep the bow handy, but not knocked or anything.
Yeah, Ulm is bringing out his crossbow, and of course, you know, Mog is reacting with the short bow as well, though following your cue at this point, Soren. It won't take too long until you also can hear things. Someone is moving through the trees. You can hear just crashing through bushes without any regard for how much noise they might be making. And just a little bit after that, you hear that, you will see two smaller orcs who are running. They're clad in some kind of rags, really dirty gray brown rags, and they're running as fast as they can through the forest and just crashing through bushes, holding up their hands to get through tree branches. They're running for their lives as far as you can tell. And behind them, a little bit further behind, you can hear shouts. I went this way!
Well, this is the worst ambush ever.
Oh.
Sounds like some kids are in trouble.
Kids or something else.
Yeah.
Not of our concern.
Depends on who's chasing them and how angry they are.
That sounded like other orcish voices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if they come through the woods and see travelers on the road, they may make it our concern.
Well, if they do make it our concern, we can deal with them appropriately, but at the same turn, and Mog, correct me if I'm wrong, us interfering in possible orcish politics is probably not a great idea.
You're not wrong. These two smaller orcs, they see you and try to sort of wear off a little bit to the side first. And now you can see their pursuers, that are 4 big burly orc warriors with really strong tusks and scimitars out. Stop them! They're screaming, bellowing.
I'm just gonna watch the kids run by, or little orcs run by, not even lifting a hand to stop them or anything.
They're like,
Yeah, Frida's not gonna make a move.
I will follow them.
they're going, help, help, and they keep running.
Why?
Red Tail, where is it?
Somebody's literally calling for help, and you're just going to turn a blind eye to it?
Because we can't get involved.
Shouldn't.
There's a difference between interfering and answering a call for assistance.
They
Red Tail
have
is that
no
way.
time to wait for you guys to have a discussion. So they keep just running down the road, hoping that it might lead to wherever they want to go.
I will shout out rough directions to Red Tail.
So follow the path, follow the road, basically.
Follow the road. Turn right at the tree.
Yeah, the big orc warriors, they're running past. Ah, you come back here, you trash! But since you didn't interfere, and yeah, you didn't help either side, they're gonna ignore you as well. One of them is kind of fidgeting with a short bow, but don't damage the goods!
says that, I'll look to either Brainar or Celestial Passage or Mog and say, what do they mean by goods?
Yeah, I don't like that line.
Okay, this went from orcish punishment to possibly
Slavery.
just slavery. Yeah.
Yeah, I will use manipulation. Tell them to stop where they are. They're under our protection.
Oh, you just raise your hand and stop where you are, and they're like, what?
I could also brandish my tiny little butter knife too, if that helps.
And
Not
now
much.
it's our problem.
Not much.
It's your butterfly
You-
knife because it's your butter knife with butterflies on it.
There you go.
You would get +1 for having a bigger group. You would also get -1 because apparently this is valuable for these pursuing orcs. So +/-1, that's exactly what you get. They will stop, in fact. They will stop there and just look at you all. Who are you? What are you doing on Rokalands? One of them says.
Not slavers. How about you?
Huh?
We're here to bring peace to this land, and you're not exactly
they're
helping.
getting away. You got in the way of this. This is none of your business. They're running from their
Keep going.
jobs.
As defiantly and as hilarious as it might seem, Tiananmen Square style, I'm just kind of like puff out my chest and just stare him down in the most hilarious two-footed fashion that I can do.
Four-footed.
We still on our horses?
Yes.
You're a little
you
bit
would.
taller
Are you
on your
still
holders.
riding with my horse?
Yeah.
So you've got the wolfkin behind you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
they're-
stand up on the horse just to make myself seem
And
average.
still
height.
not block the view of the wolfkin.
You'll regret this. They don't seem to be too interested in picking a fight. Whoa.
Oh, sweetie, I've
Deserter.
regretted a lot. It probably isn't going to be one of them.
I'm actually gonna make for Mog a stealth roll, see if she can hide her obviousness by pulling down the hood or something like that. Apparently she cannot. One of them will notice her
Because she tried to hide.
because one of them will notice her she must have some kind of sign on herself, and I think you would have noticed the purple hand sign of the Urher when you were in the Eye of the Rose. It was everywhere, and she has one of those, of course, on her belt. What? Is this an Urher incursion into Roka business? Huh? You have no rights here. And they're pointing towards Mog right now. They're our clan.
She's not the one talking. We're the ones talking.
Does Urher obey other kin now? So it's true. Soria is a human. They're looking towards each other and
Soria is not a human.
Nope, not even close.
Life would have been so much easier if she was a human. No, she's pure blood.
Urher walks.
And you're weak of mind and strength if you think that she's human to try and excuse your own slips.
Urher works with other kin. Huh. They're very confused by this.
It's an experiment to try and bring peace.
We're a multi-ethnic
Working
grouping,
together.
So, you know, we try and bring a lot to the table.
This is still not your land, strangers.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm really not sure where we made a claim on them, so that's fine.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we've stalled them enough that those kids are pretty far away by now.
Yeah.
Not kids.
You're right. They're not
Servers.
kids. They're just lower class.
Mm.
What did they steal from you?
Themselves. They've no right to run off like that.
How much are they worth to you?
Are you paying them?
What?
He might.
Validate
Paying?
actions by
Then if you're not paying them, why are they working for you?
That's their...
They're what? That's
What?
their what?
That's their place.
No, they're people. They're people, not objects.
What? They are not warriors.
It doesn't matter if they're warriors, they're still people.
Mog
People
will,
are not objects.
Mog will sort of try to whisper very quietly in your ears. In orc society, those who cannot fight work. That's what they mean.
For what? Work for what?
For the clan.
So they have food, shelter, protection by the warriors.
That's their role. That's their place. Those who cannot fight. Someone has to sow the fields.
But it's not a role that everyone wishes to do.
Unfortunately not.
in this case, we'll fight for them, and then they'll be fighters as well.
This is
Back me
complicated,
up or
says
not,
Mog.
I'm fighting these guys, so you want to toss me into the fray there, Frida? Yeah, I'm
Fastball
fine with
special.
that. You know it.
For the halfling.
So what was their job that they left?
Latrine duty.
Oh.
That's a shitty
Surely
job.
you could have had better work.
Did you just say that's a shitty job?
Every time, and I will always do it.
Are you sure you're a minstrel?
It's more like a court jester.
I also, am a bullshit artist, so I know this. This is my job.
That's true.
You have an awfully shitty sense of humor.
How much is it for someone to hire the latrine workers for a period of time? Or
Hire?
indefinitely?
What do you mean hire?
How much gold does it take to make you go away?
Wait.
So you're asking questions that they have no actual concept of because their
Yeah,
society
I've
doesn't
realized
work
this.
that way.
Okay,
But
so
yours might, but these ones don't.
one-on-one combat then? Is that what they're after?
Now you're talking.
See, they'll definitely clash with you over ownership rights.
Okay.
They will. They have, in fact. They are, of course, all armed.
Hmm.
No surprise there. And you will
Champion
notice
versus
that their
champion.
characteristic, unlike
What I was thinking, yeah.
unlike the scimitars that have been so common among the Urher, these orcs are carrying flails.
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
and shields. Ah! The biggest of them will. I can settle it.
Of course he will.
So, champion versus champion, first to drop.
Give us offer.
Apparently that's what we're doing. I will get down off my horse.
Yep.
Draw my sword and shield.
Yep. Oh, that means that we're bringing out the cards.
I'm keeping my eye on the orc that has a bow.
Yeah, don't let
There's-
them cheat.
Brainer's dismounting.
They're not likely to cheat, but it's good to keep an eye.
Yeah. So I'll grab a card, initiative card, and you'll grab an initiative card.
Yep.
What?
Okay.
It says that
If worse comes to worse, I will totally be using spells to guide my horse into combat.
Okay, shuffle the deck.
I assume you guys won't let me die?
No. No, worse comes to worse, I'm
There we go.
going to command my horse into the fray and then maybe bear punch someone.
Okay, I have a
Yay.
card. Do you have a card?
Yes.
Excellent. So I have a 7. That sucks. You're probably going to be before.
Oh, stupid. Here we go. 5.
Yes, you're first.
Okay.
So I will, it's hidden combinations. What fun kind of
So-
stuff can I do with a...
that one. And that one.
I'm going to get that one and... that one, maybe? Let's see how that goes. Alright, let's flip.
So attack. And defend.
Okay, so that's... so you have that order of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and attack then. Which means that I won't be parrying. I'm just standing there with the shield and the flail. Rah!
Okay. That's melee, correct?
Yes.
+2 for my sword. Roll. Sweet. I hit.
That's a
Ooh.
solid hit.
That is a very solid hit. I do have some studded leather armor. Or I had some studded leather armor.
Yeah, no.
Ouch. That's... and how much is your longsword? It's 2 points of damage, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's shortest duel ever. So
Seriously?
he's basically trying to just smack you at the same time as you are attacking. And
So I just kind of duck and swing.
yeah, that's
He
5 points of
exposed
damage
himself too
right
much.
there. No, 4
Yeah.
points of damage.
Sweet.
Which doesn't quite bring him down. You don't have a willpower you can do extra point of damage with, no?
I have a willpower, but I don't know if I have that ability.
I don't think you have. If I recall. No, Path of the Blade is something else. Right. So, yeah, you give him a brutal gash at a place of your choosing. Where would you hit him?
Probably the way I swung would go right through the stomach.
Ah! He kind of walked into it, too, with his...
Yeah.
wanting to attack, and taking that many points of damage means that he loses his next step, so he's not attacking you, he's just staggering back.
Cool. So I will redraw these.
Well, he does have the other step here. Hinder, is that a
Okay.
fast action or a slow action?
It's just fast.
Yes, exact fast action. There we go. So what he will try to do is to... let's see now if I can actually do a hook with the
A
flail.
flail.
No, it's only blunt. I can't even do a hook. I can do a shove.
And I am trying... can I defend against that?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because I've got defend pulled, so I would
Yeah,
try and use
exactly.
my shield to block that.
Yeah.
Is that a melee roll, or you have to roll first?
I'll roll first and then you roll. Yeah, as
Okay.
per usual. But I'm going to use my shield as the bonus. So it'll be like so. As much... I mean, he doesn't want to yield because he is an orc and you don't yield as an orc.
No.
You're unbreakable. That's the
So I
code.
will roll for my shield.
So he's
And
trying to
I
shove you
defend.
to the ground. Ugh, and you're just too big.
Big.
It's,
Yeah.
It's like he's running into his mountain. Stops him dead.
Yeah, Frida
It's
just
my
kind of goes
girl.
into a defensive position and...
Yep.
It's my girl.
And that's the end of the turn.
Okay, so,
New turn.
take a card. I'm gonna spend a willpower this turn to ignore his armor.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't even work for his armor this time, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that.
Has there been any sign of interference from the others?
No, they're respecting the rules here, so...
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna go. There we go. Playing it safe this time, I think. Because he has 1 hit point left. He's strong. These Roka guards are strong. These are not your average city militia guard.
Ready to flip?
Yep.
Attack.
Oh, that was the wrong way. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. There we go. So, flip. And flip. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so I make my attack roll and then you make your defend roll?
Exactly.
Okay. Shoot.
I'll just defend, because ow. It's a success on the defense. Ooh. We'll see if it's enough. It is not. I'll use that first roll, but it really doesn't matter which one. He negates one of your successes, which means that it's still 2 points of damage in.
And I take him down.
Yes, very likely.
Yeah, because I ignored his armor with my willpower.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, then, yeah, he... Please describe the carnage.
So, after I've already wounded him in the stomach, he's trying to dodge and weave, and she probably just lops him in the leg after that.
Yeah. And there, down he goes.
Yeah.
These orcs, if you compare these warriors to the Urhur ones, they're slightly stronger.
So, in comparison to fighting the king, they would be...
No, the king would still beat them, probably. King Hroka is stronger than these guys, but then King Hroka is probably one of the strongest orcs you will ever have the misfortune to meet. But if you compare to, say, some of the Urhur orcs that you met traveling through the forest towards the Eye of the Rose, these are heavier. It might be the difference between, I don't know, not quite between, in Middle-earth, between regular orcs and Uruk-hai, but something of that nature.
Okay.
But you have beaten them fair and square here, and this orc, he's going down on the ground. Do you want to roll a crit maybe for him as well? You might kill him.
Do I want to kill him?
That's up to you. Bloodthirsty.
No, I'll leave him alive. And I will look at them and say, I assume this is more than enough to buy both their freedom and our passage. You can let the rest of your clan know.
Yeah, no, he's on the ground and he's bleeding pretty badly. The others are nodding. You great warrior.
So I've been told.
And they're kind of wide-eyed because they didn't expect that.
Yeah, orcs usually don't tend to female to step up and go, not take a scratch.
Pretty much.
I'll lean over to whoever's closest, Big or Celestial Passage or Brainerd. This is literally the most effective she's ever been.
Shh.
They will pick up their fallen comrade. One of them is going to try to do some kind of first aid on that bleeding wound.
This must be just the power of actually giving a damn.
Yes. Are you anyone that want to help?
Yep.
He said first aid, not lighting them on fire.
Yeah.
1 dot of healing, 2 empathy.
I
said
think
I'd help,
maybe
I didn't say I
Celestial
was
is
good.
better with this. Is Celestial better with healing? Or why not Big?
A little a little bit, but I think Big's much better.
I think Big might be the one who's the best at healing.
It's so
Not the slavers, no.
exactly.
They're not slavers, they're just orcs being orcs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's my job not to help them, so, you know.
You gotta say it in a gruff, menacing voice. I don't have to save you.
This is true. Okay. So, is Celestial gonna help him at all? No. Okay.
Second, I'm tied up at the moment trying to do something quick.
Okay.
I mean, look at that roll by Josh. Look at that roll.
Yeah, that didn't work.
I've already got my horse turned around. And ready to leave these guys in the dust.
Guess we're incompetent today. I ain't pushing that when I'm hard at that roll.
Well, you tried your level best.
Yeah.
They will
Sorry.
note this, but they will also carry their fallen comrade away and respect the deal. The deal was, let them go. Trial by combat. It was done. It was done with honor. And that's that.
Yeah, occasionally Frida can kick ass.
Not just occasionally. You can take your cards back.
Occasionally, Frida's dad ass.
I don't even know what that means.
What can I say? Wolfkin and orcs are a lot alike society-wise.
They are. They are in many ways. You probably
why
have a
they
bit
push
more...
Frida's buttons so badly.
Yeah. Yeah, so they will leave you alone. And you can continue your journey. Mog is saying it was a good thing that you did that, Frida. It means there will be less complications later.
Glad I could help.
Alright, so when we continue on the way, do I have to roll scouting or survival again?
Yes,
for the
please.
next text?
Indeed.
Survival +1. My dice rolls have been like this all day.
It's just the season? Huh. Okay. That's interesting. Is that a willpower point? Or is it a mishap?
It is a mishap.
Uh-huh.
Maybe
gonna
you
take-
just don't
gonna
do...
Take
Sorry,
the
Chris.
willpower rather than spend it.
You just don't seem to do very well in the spring.
That
Maybe you're
has to
more
be
of a
it.
fall tracker?
I think so. I think like fall is my season.
Yeah.
I know what the problem is. The problem is that there's 7 of us and horses.
Yes, that must be it.
Too much noise?
It's hard to find a safe path when I'm trying to move this many people.
That's fair.
'Cause you're stuck to places where the horses can travel fairly easily. This is true. Yeah. D66 for mishap. Interesting. You all died. No, wait. So you keep traveling into the next area, and still open forest like it has been before. You can every once in a while see the glint of the river in the distance. It's pretty far away, but it's there, and you can keep it on your right hand. And Soren is very focused on keeping track of that river so that you know that you're not taking a wrong turn somewhere. There is not much of a road here. If people travel here, maybe they're just following deer tracks, because that's basically what you get. So you're traveling on single file. When you're coming into an absolute... You must be a spawning pool somewhere around here, because it's an absolute cloud of very early mosquitoes or some kind of other insects that are swarming around you. And
we are in New Brunswick.
Swamps and dankness.
New Brunswick with orcs.
Nah, this is just Dagobah.
I was gonna say that's just one of the closer backwood towns.
And it is... They are getting in everywhere, and will, in fact, possibly... I'm going to use the Roca Guard here to roll, because the base dice. They will probably drive you a bit nuts. I'm going to roll once for each one of you. We'll start with Celestial. Let's see now. I want to be... It's not supposed to be... There we go. That is 1 point of damage to your empathy. Big. Nothing. Brennar. Yep. Frida. Nothing. Soren. Oh! Sorry.
So they're just missing my horse altogether, because Big's on my horse.
Exactly. And then we have Mog.
And Soren just rode right into them.
So Mog also. And Soren, is that enough to break you?
Yes. Yes, it is, because I am a non-empathetic asshole.
I don't have the third dot of cooking yet.
Oh dear. So you are just absolutely covered. For some reason, they like Soren more than anyone else. And they are just getting into every little opening. And... oh, so frustrating. Just so frustrating. How does Soren react to this?
Soren would retreat into himself even further than he does when he's in a city. Basically, he knows that he's at the verge of just like he's just had it today. Like, today is done. Today is the 2020 of the year, of the week, and he's just gonna sit on his horse and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going past this point. Well, maybe a little bit past this point, out of the bugs, but then I'm done.
Would I be able to use Song of the Hymn to bolster his spirits?
You will, in fact, be able to do that. You are quite right. Path of the Hymn, you can help a broken comrade within short range. Where every willpower you spend, your comrade recovers 1 point of the broken attribute. So yes, you can sing a soothing song.
Do I have to performance check for that, or?
No, you just spend the willpower. So how many willpower would you have to spend for... I mean, just one willpower will make Soren unbroken.
I do have the third point, Mikaela, so if you want to just spend the one to get him through, I can make him a meal when we stop, and it'll bring the rest back.
Yeah.
I think I only have one left anyway, so...
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Is Big using that willpower or not?
Yep.
Okay.
So, I like to think that once you start, Soren just glares at her, just like, don't, just fucking don't, and she doesn't listen.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be like...
Stop trying to fucking comfort me.
Absolute, like, lullaby at this point, you know. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep, please.
And
goddamn halflings.
It's like the baby shark of minstrel songs, so... You know, enjoy
Baby
that.
wolf can do 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 do. Baby wolf can do 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 do. Baby wolf can do 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 do.
in spite of himself, Soren has to laugh. It actually cheers him up a bit. He has 1 point of empathy back.
It's like when a parrot absolutely loses their shit and their kid then does something cute.
Yes.
That's me.
Exactly like that. Who is
Fine.
doing the scouting, meanwhile? Is that still Ulm, or is it Celestial this time?
I'll take it back just because Soren's so distracted.
Fair enough. Also, you're better at it than Ulm, to be honest.
Yes, but I'll just say it's because Soren's been so out of sorts.
No, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do.
Don't start.
Works.
Well, I'm not pushing that.
Nope. Not much. Yeah, no, this is... You know, had it not been for the mosquitoes...
Apparently we're all having a bad day.
This would have been a very, very nice little hike. It's nice and quiet otherwise. The birds are singing in the trees, getting ready for spring and starting to fix up their nests. You'll see an occasional squirrel going up and down. I'm sure you'll see some other animals
I don't
as
tell
well.
Soren about the squirrel.
Not this time. You managed to keep that river where you're supposed to keep it, and it's just a glorious spring day with hardly a cloud in the sky. When you can see the sky, I mean, it's not that dense here, so you can see a lot of blue sky between the canopy, and nice and warm for once, possibly. Maybe it's a hint that summer is, in fact, gonna come after all. Yeah.
Question: because I failed the find the path check, we don't move another hex, do we?
Let's see now, if I recall correctly.
I thought we did. We just got the consequence.
You still enter the hexagon, but you suffer a mishap and must immediately roll on the table on the next page. That's all. So you're not lost as such. I think, in fact, lost is one of the results on the mishap table.
I think it's one of the worst results on the mishap table.
Yeah, it's there on 22 to 26. So
All right.
you didn't get lost. You just kind of walked into that, and that was too bad.
And this area along the river, are we getting? How many hexes are we getting?
Well, you'll get another one before the quarter day is over. So 'cause you're on
Okay.
horse.
Okay. I didn't know if it was open terrain or not. In that
Now this
area,
is
so-
open. This kind of forest is open enough.
Alrighty.
If you go straight south, you'll end up in dense forest, which is just much worse.
All right. Well, I am willing to give this a try again. My spirits have been buoyed. Thanks to Big. I no longer feel like I'm going to kill all of you and dump your bodies in the river here.
Just me.
You can try, but
I mean, that'd be an interesting otherworld game.
See, it's one of those
hap-
situations, I trust you as far as I can throw you. Soren,
What happened in the alternate
Throw me
timeline where
along
Soren
with-
decided to try and kill us all?
The Mirrorverse. Finally,
except I think I could take Soren in close combat.
you probably could. You can take most of them in close combat. In fact, you might be able to take several of them at a time in close combat.
That's why I don't do that.
The
Yeah.
Mirrorverse where Soren starts to act and then Brainard just yells, "By the rust!"
Well, see,
Flame on!
that's what Soren was daydreaming about before Big snapped him out of it. He had this whole
Exactly.
thing playing out in his head, and then he heard the song come through, and he's like, "Ah, fine."
Mm.
But I did not bone that roll. Yay!
Woohoo!
This is true. And yeah, so you keep traveling through the forest as before. Still a very nice day. Is Celestial doing the scouting?
Yeah.
You sound so excited, B.
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it.
Works well.
That's some good scouting.
Yeah.
This is the emotional energy level you get after a day of work in the holiday.
Yeah.
That is fair.
I will not contest that. Yeah, you were well alert, and the only thing that ever sort of shows up in your looking glass would be various animals. Easy enough to avoid. Did you... I saw that some of you rolled for your food supplies. I'm scrolling back up here. Soren is done with that. Brenner is done with it. But the rest of you aren't. So maybe do a check.
Ah, it's a good thing we changed that water skin. It seems to be working so much better.
It does seem to be working so much better. Yeah, you all seem to be well off. Indeed.
It helps that I replenish our stores at every kitchen I get to.
It does help. It does help indeed.
And
You
we
have
fill our
traveled for
pockets at every buffet too. So
That's right.
you've traveled for half a day. Not seen anything untowards yet, except that little thing near Reddale. If there are Roka or other orcs around, they haven't bothered you. But then, you know, it's a big forest, so maybe they're just somewhere else.
Alright, speaking of forest, this is about the point where we're going to break hard south, so if anybody needs to fill up their water skins here at the river, do so.
Silence's approval.
Yeah,
Apparently.
well, I think everybody has their water skins pretty
Yeah,
full.
everybody's water skin's full, isn't it?
Yeah.
but yeah.
Should be.
And
We've
then,
had 2 cities that we filled them at.
and then we're going to break hard south towards the mountains.
Yeah, and Ulm is only going to go with you to the actual mines. She's not going to go into them unless you want her to. That was the plan from the beginning. Alright, so again, you're trekking into the dark forest now. And this is as far as you can get this time. And, okay. You now have, an issue here, Soren. XP or gain an XP? Gain a willpower or use an XP? Use a willpower.
I will, well, I'll gain the 1 from the damage, but then I'll spend the 1 to succeed.
Okay. So that no mishap happens this time.
Yeah. I don't know what sort of mishaps we might run into in a darker forest, but I don't want to take that chance.
Mouse skeeter.
Maybe.
No problems at all in dark forests. As you take this turn towards the south, the forest gets much denser, and this will remind you of Thamrin, only darker. Brambles, underbrush, very tightly packed trees. Now you can't see very far ahead of you as you go. It's going to be, well, you know your New Brunswick forests, and you know how hard it is to see very far. Just have a walk along a trail in Rockwood Park for those who come by St. John.
No. I was gonna say, that's not even a deep woods.
A 50-meter line of sight at most.
I'm gonna say I could get some trails in Barnesville deeper than that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Like, the city folk can take it easy and, you know, try some trails at Fundy National Park that are worse than that.
Could walk from my house to the airport through the woods, apparently. But I've looked at it.
You can.
I've looked at it on Google Maps, and yeah, no.
It's not a smart hike to take.
No.
That is bad. That is bad territory.
Yes.
So
Right.
this is the level of denseness that you can... And, of course, getting your horses through there, as much as it has helped you the rest of the day, and helped you make good speed. It's not anymore.
No, we're breaking even now. It's just extra carrying and me not limping.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I figure if everything goes well, we should be at the mines by like lunchtime tomorrow.
Evening time tomorrow, probably. This will take the rest of the afternoon. You're trekking through this hex, so it will be time to make camp. Is anyone scouting now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, not gonna push that again. Not gonna push it, but I do have one.
But it works. It works,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, no, so that works. Again, all that you ever see on this trek is animals of various forms.
Oh look!
Hopefully that'll mean good hunting later.
Yeah,
Oh look, stunk.
exactly.
Oh look, Frida.
So yeah, you've made your way to as far as you can go in an afternoon, without too much trouble. And it's time to make camp, unless you want to press on for another quarter day. But then it's going to be harder with a camp and all that sort of thing.
I think
No.
I think we can camp here.
Yep. Some of us have to heal some empathy.
Some of you have to have some empathy.
I'll just cook something. It'll be fine.
It will be fine. And while you cook, some of us will just buy up a talent.
Yep. Some people will like that a lot.
I will like buying up my talent that I started learning.
Soren, do you want to help me hunt some animals before we rest for the night? So we can have a hot meal?
Lauren has
Yeah, I
probably
can-
set up camp.
Yeah, I'll give you a hand.
Thank you.
And here, use this, and I'll toss the bear trap to you.
Thank you.
The bear trap is a smaller Frida.
Mm. So who is making the make a camp roll?
What's the requirements for it?
Survival.
It's
isn't
survival.
it?
I got 5.
I guess I have 8.
Go ahead. Someone else can do scouting meanwhile.
Yeah, we do have a backup scout.
You do. He's called Ulm.
Snap point home.
Of course, if he isn't sleeping now, someone else will have to sleep. Or is Soren sleeping?
It's only evening now, or we're
Yeah.
making camp.
So Celestial Passage is making camp. Who is making? Who's sleeping now? During the
Actually, I'll
Early
toss
evening?
the bear trap to Frida, and I'll show Celestial Passage where my small tent is, and then I will sleep. That way, I can keep watch later.
Right. That will give me a +2 to my survival.
It will.
And it's the small tent is a +2 for making camp.
It is
Ah.
indeed. But he worked. It
Alright.
worked out anyway for Celestial, so that's fine.
Okay.
You found a nice secluded spot to make a camp. So Frida's going to go out and do some hunting.
Yep.
While
Yeah.
Celestial is making camp.
Rita
Tent
does
and
some really
everything.
good hunting.
She does indeed. Wow.
Yeah.
Good job there.
I think that's the best survival roll I've made all game.
Yes, I think so too. You do find something.
Let's hope it's
No.
bigger than a squirrel.
Let's see. Roll a. You
It's
can
mega
roll. In
squirrel.
fact, so with 3 successes, you get to. So roll a d6, and if it's a bad thing, you can keep rolling
Okay, cool.
until you get. You know.
You get a horse-sized squirrel.
Horse-sized squirrel.
That's a bad thing.
that's just a mouse. So roll again. I found a mouse. 4. That's a fox. If you want to re-roll
I will
again,
roll
you can do that.
one more time just in case.
But okay, that's a 3.
I'll take the fox.
Okay, we'll go with the fox. I'm generous. Normally, Raw, you just go with whatever you rolled last, so there's a risk. But I'm fine with you taking a fox. Are you chasing this fox with your weapon or with a trap?
I will use the trap because I used the bonus on the survival roll.
Okay, so then roll the survival with the trap as the bonus.
Okay. I will also spend the willpower to keep it sent in case I fail the survival roll.
Okay.
So that I can use my weapon after.
And you fail the survival.
I will push.
Okay. I mean, you gain a willpower point from it, but you will only have 3 dice.
That's
from
fine.
the pushed. You succeed.
That's not.
But you also break yourself. Okay. The fox is very cunning and almost outwits you, which is going to be very, very frustrating for you.
Your stupid trap almost broke.
No, you broke. The trap's fine.
Way to buy a fox. That's so sad. It's like your third cousin. Is that why you didn't want to get him?
You are paralyzed by confusion, basically.
Rita doesn't know how to work the trap, maybe?
No, I mean, you did. You succeeded with the thing, but afterwards you're like, where am I now? What am I doing? How can I...
Oh, I'm lost.
I'm going to say that you're going to be able to find... Because, again, it was a success, right? You're going to be able to find your way back to camp, but after that, you're going to be tapped out, because that fox really gave you a run for the money.
Yeah.
And you will have absolutely... You can't perform other actions or roll for any skills at this point until you're unbroken. You're, like, confused.
Quick, Brainard, punch big so big has a willpower.
Even
well, here,
better.
I'll do it. I don't know what's denser, the look on her face or the forest around us.
He said sing a hymn, not do a vicious mockery.
Did someone hit Big, not someone rip Big's face off?
Gotta catch me first.
She's too confused.
Yeah, she's super confused and can't use any skills at this point until she has healed it up.
Okay, somebody needs to heal me because I need to cook.
So Brainard is using Blood Bond again to transfer wits from him to her.
Okay.
That's
This
pretty
becomes... Yeah, this basically becomes...
point, I guess?
Yeah, all I need is 1, but if I overcharge it, it might suck.
Yeah.
You did.
Shame you can't save cast that for 1.
Yeah, I can't even... Yeah, I can't save cast this either, I don't think. Checking, 1 sec. Yeah. I don't have mine or her blood, so...
You can take some of my blood.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and cut you in the middle of you being confused. You'll claw me to death.
She can't.
Yeah, she can't.
Exactly, I can't melee. I'm too confused.
Hang on, I'm gonna do some bloodletting to heal you.
You are putting your hand on her as she's sitting there apathetically and just kind of wondering what she's supposed to do with this fox now anyway. Apparently it was a very exhausting hunt, and...
Rainer's just like, Frida, you need to cook it.
And then she feels that
We need our
warmth in his
food,
hand
Frida.
that radiates into her shoulder first and then just clears up her head, at least a little bit. So she gets 1 wits point back and is unbroken.
Frida, food, not friends.
If you do that enough, am I going to become one of your little demonic pets?
No, it's just how I do my thing. Don't judge.
It's not vampire.
Oh.
Just means that you might be able to do a blood transfusion later.
Okay, so yeah, now that I've got my head back on straight, I will cook up that fox into a lovely, lovely roast.
And now it did take a quarter day to do the hunting as such. So just to
You can only cook it in the morning.
yeah, you'll have to cook it in the morning. But that will also.
But we
take
did roll
a
our
while.
food for the day.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, we're good
so
anyways.
you have a new fox, which is let's see now, how much is the fox? The fox is 3 meat and 1 pelt. So that's something. You've had your meal. You've made the camp. Who is sitting watch during the night?
I will watch during the night since I slept while Frida was walking about in the woods.
Very good.
Mikael, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I have cooking level 3, does that mean any of the rations previously that were made by me also give the willpower back, or is it only fresh?
Ooh.
Or not willpower, but empathy. Or is it
Yeah.
only fresh cook?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure the talent.
I'd say
says that.
I'd assume it's anything cooked since you've got it.
Yeah.
Because currently
that would
all of
make
our
sense.
rashes have been cooked by me at level 3.
That's lovely. I would
It's
think-
only, I think it's only fresh.
Let's have a look and see. If
I
it
would
says-
think so too.
You also,
We can taste the love when it's fresh, not when
the
it's
food you
jerky.
cook is so delicious that whoever eats it immediately recovers a point of lost empathy. It doesn't specify that it has to be fresh.
I just think it would be a pain to track.
Yes, it would be. I would think.
It was just something that happened across my mind.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good question, right? And the rule set doesn't really specify, but in the interest of making it easier to track,
It would make sense that fresh food would be the most comforting.
yes. It's fresh, it's warm, just out of the pot.
Yeah.
Rainer, I'll totally take that pelt.
Yeah, sure.
What you gonna do with that pelt, Rainer?
You want to grab us some herbs or roots or whatever in the morning to throw in with the meat?
Sure.
Sure, there's some tarragon and parsley somewhere in the woods.
And
I was thinking more like dandelion root or something like that.
some popotos.
Mash them, boil them, stick them in a stew.
Exactly.
Wild blueberries.
Beets. And not just what's gonna happen to Big in the morning.
I will keep watch during the evening.
I will be right
Excellent.
back, guys.
I'm just gonna fix up something here really quickly. No worries at all.
Something dark side.
Ah! Sorry. There we go.
What's the difference between sleep and resting?
Closing your eyes.
Yeah, rules wise, basically, rest will still allow you to recover stats, attributes, I believe, even if you're not sleeping. But you do need to do sleep at least once per 4 quarter days, otherwise you get sleepy. So rest will allow you to recover attribute points. Even if it's not sleeping, but you do have that. If you don't sleep during a day and you rest, you get sleepy after that time anyway, right? So that's the mechanical difference there. Yeah, so you are very alert, Soren, and that is probably a good thing, because it is in the dead of night when you hear something really heavy moving through the woods, grunting loudly. and then you smell it, and it smells horrifyingly bad. Whatever
this
it is.
reminds me of a game of some.
Can I identify what the smell might be?
You can roll for a lore.
I can certainly try. No clue. No idea.
You can hear some kind of muttering over in yonder direction.
Can I tell if it seems to be... Does it seem to be coming towards our camp? And I'll kind of I'll shield whatever little fire we have with my cloak.
Yep.
And I'll try to see if I can very quickly judge whether this thing may be stumbling upon us or moving in a different direction.
You're kind of you're shielding the fire so it doesn't show for any hostile eyes, and then making your way slowly. Your eyes have to get acquainted to the dark because of the fire, right? It takes a few moments. Yeah. But by the time you have, and you look out because you had such a good scouting roll, you will be able to see it. It's a big, lumbering beast of a humanoid. And you can feel the smell from it from even over here. It must be, it's easily taller than Frida. Clad in very rough pelts that have just been barely stitched together. And beady eyes, almost shiny in the dark. And lumbering through the undergrowth, muttering to itself.
I've seen an ogre before. Does it look like that?
This is bigger than an ogre.
Okay then. I will make my way back and I'll quietly wake everybody just so that we're not caught unawares if it stumbles into the camp.
I will roll for its scouting.
Do you want me to roll stealth or?
Feel free, yeah.
Nope, so not stealthy. So very not stealthy.
Roll for wonder. Well, you just didn't succeed. I mean, the troll might be dumb too. Or not.
Or not.
More importantly, I didn't succeed in a way that I don't dare push.
Frida probably made a bunch of noise when you were trying to wake her up.
I think it's time to change maps.
Bad shit.
No, there's no reason to change maps.
And hold on a moment, because I realized that I haven't actually uploaded this map to Roll20 yet. But that will only take a sec.
Yeah, Roll20 is nice when you don't have to worry about lining up grids and everything. When you're uploading a map for D&D, it is a pain in the butt to get your maps grids to line up.
Let's see now. No grid. Yeah, there we go. And I have to move you guys over there too. Apparently.
Well,
there.
I mean, at some point.
Exactly, at some point. So there we are.
Darkness.
Oh, okay. I'm still getting used to the dynamic lighting settings here. Apologize.
It's alright.
Yeah, dynamic lighting definitely takes getting used to.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll just turn it off for now, because we don't really need it. There we go.
I say we have be in pure darkness because our tokens weren't placed in the light area yet.
Well, you can place your tokens in the light area. I have done it to a slightly smaller scale here, so see now, there we go.
Ah!
No, there we go. So, sound like that. You're around your campfire there. And it is lumbering through the woods. This is right out of the illustration in the GM's guide. Nice, huh?
All of us notice this thing coming?
Yes.
Everyone hide under Frida.
It is big and burly and makes noise. It's very easy to notice this thing.
I'm having a hard time making my character smaller.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Whoop, there you go.
Technology hates me.
We need Big here as well. Right? Big wants to join the fun.
You mean by fun, hiding behind my tail? Sure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well,
exactly
I was just trying to figure out which dice to roll for a pants check at this point.
Not sure what I should use for Ulm. I'll just use some kind of
inner dwarf
image. Yes, I'll find a dwarf that's not really. I'll use this one. It's fine. It's not really him, but that's fine. So where is Ulm? Ulm is there. There.
Hide behind the giant dwarf.
Yes. And we have also Mog, who I also don't have. I need a good generator to get nice character portraits. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna use Soria's picture just because she is an agent of Soria's, even though it's not actually Soria.
I highly recommend, if you don't already have it, Token Tool. It's a free program that you can get, and basically it's designed just specifically for making tokens.
Oh, okay, excellent. I'll dig into that between the sessions.
Yeah, I'll find a link and send it to you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna hand out some initiatives here because obviously, this thing is not something you necessarily can talk to. Well, you can try, but so I'll take one for the troll, and then I'll take one for Mog and you can grab your own. There you go. One for Ulm. Oh, sorry. That should be there. And one for Mog. Mog is fast, apparently.
Frida wakes up ready and raring to go.
Exactly. So who's the number one there?
That's Frida.
Okay. What do? You can see this lumbering beast of a creature out there in the woods, and it has turned towards you guys because apparently it heard you. And it's coming this way.
I wonder if I can scare it away.
With an intimidate roll?
Yeah.
Go ahead and try. It's, I believe, a slow action.
It's too far away for me to actually hit it.
Yes. Yes, it is. At this point, I would say it's on short distance. It's not long, it's short.
That is might from me.
Yes, it is.
Hey, look at that.
Look at that.
I'm scary.
growling. "Rah!" And the reaction from the troll, because it's a monster and doesn't have wits or empathy, is, "Oh, got you!"
It was worth a shot.
It was.
Monsters.
For what it's worth, I thought it was really impressive.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Slow clap from everyone around the fire.
So
Second
number
pants
2,
check.
that is in fact Mog. She will disappear from view by sneaking. She's grabbing her short bow and going to just disappear from view. Stealth roll. She's gone. The troll cannot see her anymore. Basically, she's moved slightly behind some bushes, and she is putting an arrow on her bow.
It's too distracted by the giant wolf to
Yes,
be
probably
worried
is.
about the orc.
Somehow I don't think sneak attack will be as devastating for me in this game as other games.
May not be, or it may be. Who knows?
Weapon vicious and persistent, you'd be fine.
Plus the extra 2 damage dice. You can't forget the extra 2 damage dice.
Exactly. Yes. So who's next? Number 3. Oh, that's the troll. That's me. Sorry.
Oh, there was a 2.
Lumbering.
Oh, it was Mog. Never mind.
Marching. Yes, it will march towards the source of the fire. I don't think it's going to make it further than to near distance, though. Boom, boom, boom. The ground almost quakes underneath its feet, but not quite. But if any small trees are in the way of this lumbering, towering thing, they're just snap like so much kindle wood. It just crashes right through them. Next is number 5? Oh, that's me again, isn't it?
Yep.
That will be Ulm. He will shoot.
That's why I started using the text to put blocks with my name over mine.
Ah, yes. Oh, that's a good idea. Excellent. Yeah, that's... Ulm is going to shoot it because, yeah, this is big and scary and horrifying. So, marksmanship. Have a light crossbow. There we go. That's a hit. It does, I think it's 2 points of damage. But the troll, of course, has a thick skin.
Hmm?
So it absorbs one of those points. You can see how that bolt hits, kind of glancing across the arm, I'm gonna say. There is some blood there trickling, but not enough to make the troll even flinch much. It growls a bit more, perhaps. Next is Celestial, I think.
Oh, God. With that much armor, oh.
Will your bear paw do anything?
Oh, my bear paw can, but it doesn't ignore armor. So it means I'd have to pump it up.
Mm.
So you'd
Which
have to
has-
overcast.
Which comes with its own risks.
Yeah.
But that is my most damaging thing, especially where it's immune to the other 2 traits anyway. So I'll run over to bear paw it.
Okay.
Woo is me. Bring my sheet back up and cry.
Indeed.
All right. Let's see. Automatically 2, because of course I'm gonna use my myself being half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna. I think I'll throw another 4 and make it 6.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of
Is that?
willpower.
Yep. Yep.
Let's hope this doesn't misfire. Eh. Well, it was a lot of dice.
Yeah. Law of averages. I mean, I would have
Exactly.
preferred that be a 6, but.
So, mishap for magic as you reach out and you're connecting with the spirits.
Oh, thank God that's on the low range.
It is. Whew. 21. The spell suddenly makes you very thirsty as you're reaching out and asking the spirits gently if they can help you grow the claws of the bear. You do have those bear claw ingredients, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you are half elf, so that's 5 willpower points you've used, and that will be a total effect of 7 points of damage, isn't it?
Yeah.
You would take the head off any normal human.
That I was like, I saw its armor roll and went, I gotta go big here.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna go do that armor roll because it's gonna need that. Ooh, tough hide. But 7 points minus 2 is still 5 points in.
Yeah. I'm gonna regret it when he swings back at me.
It staggers backwards. I don't think this troll has ever encountered such a formidable foe before. You just lunge out with that puny little hand of yours, or so the troll thought at first, and then it turns out it was in
with
fact
such rage.
A grizzly bear attack. Not just a bear, a grizzly attack. Boom! What does this look like when you're rending into that filthy flesh of this abomination in front of you?
Well, I picture that Susto Passage, comes from the squat by the fire, does a half dash towards it and stops short, sliding in to slam that that hand in while screaming, spittle flying from his mouth, rendering himself hoarse as part of the getting thirsty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and I think the spirits are also taking some of your fluids actually for helping you with this as a sacrifice. It's not dead yet.
No.
But it is hurt, and you can see just what a big gash you've made across that torso. That brings us to Brennar. Also, you are now feeling the nauseating smell that's just overwhelming you. So you will take 1 point of damage to your agility now because of that. It's really just that meal you ate today. It's want to come up because this smell is like 1,000 putrid corpses. That sickly sweet smell that just makes its way into your nostrils. Brennar.
So Brennar gets in front of the open flame, holds his hands out, and similarly to Celestial Passage, gives it his all. So, yep, I'm going to attempt to immolate.
Immolate. Make the thing
As
burn.
I use my blood to burn his.
Yep.
Alright, so all willpower is 2. And then psychic power is 3. Do I include that on my base dice or my skill dice?
So the psychic power is another die that you roll because you're using that, but you just don't erase a willpower point when you use it. So.
Okay, well I'm burning all my willpower to do it.
Okay, so
Yeah,
how many willpower points do you have?
So I got 2 plus the fire as a focus
Yeah.
plus the power, so 4 total.
No, 3 because you don't
3.
roll the
Oh,
dice.
3 because of the okay.
But you have +1 power from having the focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. You are not it doesn't misfire. And of course, armor doesn't help because you are literally, if I recall correctly, yes, armor does not protect.
Armor does not
So
protect.
you're literally making this troll's blood boil. It is screaming in anger and anguish. But it is still not dead. It has taken 10 points of damage so far this turn. You can even see how the smoke is starting to come out of his mouth. And that crackling of burnt meat, burnt flesh. That brings us to Soren.
Okay, I'm going to move out of its way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that it's going to be angry at those wizardy types. So I'm going to move. You said it was at near?
Yes.
All right, so I'll move back to short range then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will shoot it with my bow.
All right.
Okay, because running is a fast action, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
How many zones can you move if you run?
You can move within the same zone, but I'm gonna allow you. I'm going to allow it for these purposes.
Okay. I was going to see if I can move one further, but that's fine.
Basically, you're keeping the distance from the troll, right? So.
Alright, that. My bow. Here's my
Indeed.
bow.
Oh, and you have willpower to ignore damage, to ignore armor, don't you?
I do.
Mm.
Make sure I got everything here. 5 skill. This is skill. Gear. Perfect. Alright, that's that.
That's a hit. With an extra point of damage.
Yep, so I will spend the willpower to ignore his armor.
Yep.
So that's going to be 2 damage.
You shoot. And I'm going to say you're shooting it in the mouth, maybe? Because the skin is the armor.
The wound.
Or the wound, possibly?
I'm just so skilled that I just get it in between like his folds of flabby troll skin.
Yes. And it staggers backwards. Apparently that wound opened up just in the chest area. And the angle you have, the arrow goes through the wound, and it must have hit his heart or something. Because it just keels over and falls down. Boom.
Huh.
And doesn't draw any more breath.
I didn't even get to do anything.
You didn't.
Scared him. It was really impressive.
Apparently, that's what happens when the casters get scared.
Yeah.
Go over to Celestial and give him a high five.
That was
I give him a high five and then drop down to start drinking from my water skin.
exactly. Yes, indeed, you do have to drink another dose of water. That troll is lying there, and its wounds are oozing with black ichory blood.
Yeah,
But you
wizardy
survived it.
types.
It didn't even get the chance to attack you.
Glub?
exactly.
Do
It
you
was
guys need any parts from this for your magic?
Me, no.
Brainard's immediately going over. I'll take the agility damage, Mikael. It's fine. And so I have an extra water skin. I've always had it. So I'm emptying it out and filling that one. So now I've got Griffin and Troll.
troll blood. I'm sure someone
Except
can
this
use
time
it.
we saw it happen.
Yes, this time you saw it happen.
Instead of suspecting it happened, we know this one happened.
And Frida's just gonna start cooking the fox because she's like, meh. She's her sword and goes to work.
You guys might want to go back to bed.
Yes, I was gonna say
Yes.
if you don't go back to bed, you're not gonna get a full night's sleep.
Can
yeah.
you move that corpse over? It still really stinks.
Yes,
I'll-
it's
I'll-
stinky and
You guys
big.
go back to bed. I'll drag this away.
You want some help with that, Soren? Kind of big.
Okay.
That thing was oh, I don't know, maybe you're 8 feet, it would be 10, 12 feet.
Yeah. I'm gonna go help Soren. 12 feet, 12 feet of dead weight.
Yeah, that's 12
No.
feet of dead weight. This is
You're under the assumption I'm going to leave it at 12 feet. I have an axe.
Don't you have several?
exactly.
So
Isn't
go
that
go
gonna be
back
a-
to sleep.
Alright.
So
Soren's gonna whistle while he works.
I have some anger that I need to take out.
It's not whistling,
Yes.
it's just the sound of the axe roaming through the...
Soren should give back some empathy for dismembering the troll.
You do if you're cold-blooded.
It's therapy.
He is not cold-blooded.
Yeah, but it's a monster.
It is a monster.
So I will, while I'm keeping watch, just in case there's any more, I will dismember it and move it away from the camp.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while to do this, but it's certainly something you can do.
I've got a couple of hours to kill while they rest, so...
Yes, you do. It's stinky, and you're gonna be low on agility when the morning comes. Because that thing is just... That's probably the worst smell you've ever had the misfortune of being exposed to. It's like... what could be... Like the troll must have been swimming in a bunch of latrine barrels. Like all the waste and refuge from any given large settlement that you hate so much rolled into a body.
Oh. See, Frida, this is what happens when you let orcs run away from latrine.
I've done some nursing and I've changed colostomy bags, so I'm guessing that's probably what the smell would be akin to.
Not having changed a colostomy bag, I can't really affirm that, but
It's pretty.
It's
pretty vile.
it's
I'll take your word for it.
Just
So
the
yeah,
smell of bears alone is disgusting enough.
It's
so-
one of those when you're standing there, you just
well,
through the nose. Nope, not through the
Yeah.
nose, through the
breathe
mouth.
through the nose. I'll like wrap a cloth around my
Yeah.
around my face, primarily because while I'm doing this, I also want to see if he actually was smart enough, because he did have some language skills. Whether he was smart enough to carry any coinage or anything in a pocket or a purse.
Any treasure.
Any treasure? Yes.
you picked up a shiny.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look, shall we? There are, in fact, in a purse. Who knows where this troll got a hold of that purse? 8 copper coins.
Ooh, 8 copper.
Yep.
All right,
Probably stuck to him from the last victim.
maybe.
Very likely.
You can buy 8 whole. Go F yourselves.
Yeah. Right. Well, I will take those, and then I'll, over time, cut the troll back. And I imagine by the time everybody else gets up, the campsite is clean, but I am like probably shaking fairly violently from being in close proximity of the troll for that long.
Yeah. And stinky. Some of that smell will have rubbed off on you, Soren.
That's fine. It means nobody will want to talk to me. I'm good.
We'll just shout at you from a distance.
Why don't you rest while I make breakfast?
Yes.
That was
good
my
idea.
plan.
And then and while you're doing that, I will learn.
Ah,
I will
you're using the
begin
morning?
to prepare the
Yeah.
fox.
And I am going scouting. You're not scouting, foraging.
Foraging. Okay. So morning in the dark forest. And
Yes, some vegetables to throw into the stew.
Thorin will have to rest to recover all that agility that he lost while chopping up the troll.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Brainer, when you're going foraging, see if you can't find any like strong smelling like pine or mint or anything, just in case we encounter these things in the future. We might be able to, like, I don't know, put them near our nostrils or something. Maybe it'll lessen the stench.
And while Brainer's having the discussion with Soren, he's kind of trying to hold his nose because, you know.
So you want like a smelling salt thing, huh?
I do like the rest of the party enough that I will make sure that I stand appropriately so the wind does not blow the smell onto them.
That's very considerate.
Yes, please stay downwind.
That's how you can tell I like you guys now.
Frida will try to heavily spice the stew so it kind of masks the smell around the campground.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll definitely work.
Okay, so it's the cooking that's making our eyes water.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, spice it pleasantly. My cooking is superb, by the way. Like, Frida is practically a professional chef.
She is. She's as good as they come right now. So Brennar, you're out out and about, away from the campsite, and
Yeah, I forgot to include my herbalist rank 1 on that. You just want me to roll 1 gear die twice?
it's a skill die actually. When it's a +1.
Alright, let me just clear 1 sec here.
So you can roll, yeah, you can roll a skill die twice, I suppose. There we go.
Oh,
Which
there you
means
go.
that you didn't even have to push the first time.
There we go.
Success.
And this is considered resting for me.
It is.
So I'm getting back my agility.
You are. It's a nice hike in the forest, in a very, very dark, brambled. But maybe that's something that is soothing for Brennar. He is very much away from prying eyes.
You used to be a hermit, didn't you?
Exactly. He did.
It's nice to finally be alone away from everybody without a bit of responsibility.
Yeah. It's like in the olden days during the Blood Mist, when you could walk an entire day without seeing a soul, or, you know, every single day without seeing a soul for years, because nobody would travel anywhere close, because if they tried, they would die a horrible death.
And Brainer would try and bring back some type of mint or some type of pine cone or something.
Yeah, well, you find a vegetable with this roll, so for sure. Other people were doing something?
Yeah, I was gonna get my 2nd level of incorruptible.
Ah, yes. Let's try.
No more roll needed. I have the base level.
Ah, okay.
Just XP in time.
Excellent. Big, you are looking out for horrible dangers, and if they come, you will see them. For once.
I usually won't scout, but because of that giant thing, I'm going to be looking. So.
I mean, if someone wants to do a lore check for legends about trolls, you're allowed to.
I can try, but I doubt Frida knows anything.
That's a me or Brainar thing, generally.
Usually.
Yeah, I'm still out.
But you never know. Well, it sounds like he was just giving it to the party. Because we have time to think.
Exactly.
I thought giving it to
No.
the party was the bard's job.
Well, that depends on the type of bard you are.
I'm the good bard.
See, naughty bards are the ones you're looking for.
Well, Brennar, I can send you a...
Yeah. Now I'm clearly focused on
You
myself.
know what? I'm
right
actually
now.
going to go ahead and push that.
Oh yeah, I suppose you want to
Yeah,
get some
I just
willpower
burnt
back
out.
too. Nice.
Okay, I suppose you can. Yes. There we go. That means that I can give you.
I didn't want to reduce
Another-
my wits before we started traveling. Because that could have been problematic.
I don't have enough wits to reduce.
I don't function without willpower.
I'm thinking about what kind of lore I can give you for those extra successes.
I understand
there.
how you feel, Braynar. I mean, there was those first couple games where I didn't realize I needed to get some willpower at some point.
Let's see now. There we go. Some tidbits.
So yeah, they only hunt at night. They like meat, as seen from last night. And Soren, where did you said you chopped it up? Oh yeah, he's still sleeping. I'm glad that
Why?
he chopped it up.
Why?
He did say chopped up
He
before he
did.
passed out.
Yes. He did.
Because if it didn't, it probably would have came back up, regardless of what me and Celestial and Soren did to it.
Really? They regenerate?
Yeah.
Excuse me while I go light it on fire.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine. It's fine.
Can we not add burning, disgusting monster flesh?
Well,
to
we
the
might need to. I
potpourri
mean,
of smells, please.
might need to.
Yeah.
Just stay downwind.
I'm always downwind, and I'm still affected.
We should probably do that before the night comes back up.
In case it tries to follow us.
Yeah!
Big, you will see it first. You will hear it first. There's something moving in the forest, breaking through twigs and trees, crackling as they walk. Something big.
The troll's wife.
It's daytime. It's daytime.
And soon enough, Big will also spot that it's. Well, I'll give you that it's a woman, but it's not a troll woman. It's a human woman with a packing mule and a child, a girl, next to her. They're making their way through the forest, and they haven't spotted you guys yet, but Big has spotted them. Come along now. Come along now. Be careful as you walk over that. There you go. Good work there, sweetie.
How far away roughly are they? Like,
Well, this is a very, very dense forest, so they're not more than, what, max 50 meters away from you, but they haven't seen you yet.
would I be able to stealthily go near them and offer assistance?
Roll stealth.
Why would you be stealthy about it?
She's allowed
Middle of the
to.
night in the middle of a dense forest. I don't
Yeah,
want
exactly.
to scare them.
But wouldn't being stealthy scare them more? Sorry, I'm just confused.
That's okay.
Big likes to scare people sometimes. Not admit it, but totally does.
You try, and that didn't work. I guess you stumble. Let's face it, Big is a bit of a town girl, if you will.
Also, some of the brambles are probably bigger than you.
And you take
That's
a stumble as you move forward, and they just go, huh, what was that? And then they look right at you. Oh,
Hi!
oh, dear little girl, can I help you? Says the woman.
I was trying to help you guys.
What are you doing
looked
out
lost.
here? All your... Oh, and then she sees your feet. Oh. Huh. I haven't seen many of... I've heard of your kin, but I haven't seen many of your kin. So you're not a child. You don't have...
No, I'm not a child. We, our folk don't really come out this far typically, but I'm a group of, well, I'm not a group. I'm with a group of people here to help other people, and we're here to help. How can we help?
Oh, well, that's great. I'm afraid we got lost. I took a wrong turn. I was following the tracks of something that was kind of... It was moving through the forest and made a bit of a path, and then I took a wrong turn. I'm Darja, and this is my daughter Lumi.
Hello, Lumi. Hello, Darja. I'm Big.
You will notice from their
following is not nice.
Sorry. Yeah, from their clothing you will tell that they are in fact Asleen. She has sturdy riding boots and riding pants as well. All those patterns on her tunic, a sturdy cloak, and that typical cap that Asleens will be wearing.
I would like beckon you to our campfire. Rest your bones. We'll find the path right in the daylight.
Excellent. Yes. Lumi, will you go back and get our horse as well, since we apparently can get through here? Shortly thereafter, they will join your campsite.
Who have you found, Big?
Exactly.
Because I'm not sure I have enough food. That fox wasn't that big.
I think Braynar went out for...
It's a human woman and her daughter.
Well, let's hope he brings back enough vegetables to fill this out.
And when they
comes
come
back with
there
a carrot.
and they sort of look over the camp and they spot, I mean, Ulm
Frida?
is a dwarf, and that's not strange in these parts, maybe. Or maybe it is strange in these parts. Anyway, she's seen dwarves before. The wolf kid lady, though.
Hi.
Oh.
Frida's standing over a pot, stirring.
She's just kind of backing away a little bit.
It's okay, I don't bite unless you're a monster.
Do you know this one? She's asking you, Big. If you know the wolfkin.
Hi,
Yeah,
I speak
no,
too.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she
Oh.
speaks sometimes too often.
Huh.
But yeah,
She also bites if you're into it.
Only when asked.
Oh, she's right now. She's keeping her daughter behind her just in case.
Would you like some stew?
I suppose so. You're very different from your kin, aren't you?
Yeah, generally.
I see. Yes, we've... Yeah. Heh. She'll sit down and take the bowl, and she's kind of still just looking at Frida and just giving some to Lumi. This is very good, and she's also sort of I mean this group. There's one human among all of you.
He's asleep.
And he's asleep. Mog is the closest to actually pass for human among you.
No, Braynar is.
Oh, possibly Braynar, yeah. No, Braynar is out foraging, right? So.
Oh yeah.
I'm
just-
close, but I try to emphasize my elven features, unlike Raynar.
Exactly.
Frida just continues cooking.
So she's a bit
quietly.
out of her typical element. Now, Aslines do meet elves if they ride a bit north, right? So that's not terribly uncommon for them. But still, yeah, she's a bit surprised by this group, and this is very good. This is very good.
Thank you.
She's noticing her nervousness has gone down just enough for her to start to take in all the sensations and all the tastes. And she's, oh, this
That
is
empathy.
very good. Yes, exactly. This is very good indeed. Well, I suppose I'm lucky to find you out here.
Big and Celestial will notice Frida does still keep a very wary eye on them.
That's nothing new.
This is a much nicer campsite than our last one. Yeah, we were
Well,
up in the mountain.
There are a lot of us. It makes it easier to make a camp when we can.
But I made a nice new friend,
Different
says the
jobs.
girl. Hush! Don't talk about that. She just gives
New
her.
friend?
She just gives her an eye. In typical mama hush kind of way.
New friends can be so much fun.
Can't they? Says the girl. I made a great friend. She was. Daria doesn't look very happy with this. She has a very
no,
active
you're-
imagination, that girl.
You're sharing our fire and our food. Let your
That's
child have some play.
very exciting.
Would I be able to get anything from an insight roll?
Yep. I just sent you. Yes, well, it's you never know what you're gonna see in these parts, but we're trying to make our way back home now. We were going to go through the river valley, but then there was, well, wars and bandits, and as it is, the Rust brothers are trying to, well, apparently they think that Aslines are attacking them, so I didn't want to stay around.
That makes
wouldn't-
sense.
I wouldn't try to get myself through orc lands otherwise, as you can understand.
So, what direction are you looking to go? Maybe we can point you the right way.
Well, we really want to get back to the Margelda Plains, but I think the easiest way, or least complicated way, would be to just keep going north from here. There's supposed to be a river that will take me to a lake.
Yes, that's not that far from here, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great news. Yeah, it was hard going getting this far. It's taken us days because of these dense woods. I'm not used to that. I'll admit.
Well, as you head north towards the river, basically give a quick layout of the path we took to get here.
Yeah.
It does thin out and it becomes a lot easier, and you can actually get back to riding normally.
Yeah. No, Lumi is still sort of... She's quiet now because her mommy gave her that eye, but you can tell that she's sort of bursting for telling her story. She wants to tell it. Certainly you, Big, can tell.
Big's all about big tales.
Indeed. Well, as a minstrel, she will collect stories, won't she? Daria starts talking about her old lands of Asleen and how her people a long time ago came from Asleen because of the demon hordes that had ravaged the plains and turned them into ashen lands.
While the stew is simmering, Frida will pick up a piece of wood off the ground and whittle a small toy for the child.
That's
My
very
crafting
nice.
roll.
Yeah. Oh, she loves that. Absolutely loves it. She will play with that toy, and first she's a bit scared of the wolfkin because, well, obviously big wolf. But since you're making nice and you're reaching out with that toy, Lumi melts and like like children can do when confronted with kindness, she will very quickly let go of her fears and start playing with that thing. While Darja keeps telling stories about the evil demon lord Crasilla that ravaged Asleen. The destroyer of Asleen. I've heard, she says, that Crasilla is still plaguing the lands, so that we cannot go back to where we came from. But I don't know. Maybe that has changed after the blood mist.
While they're regaling us.
Oh, what is this performance?
Well, while they're telling us the story, I'm going to try and backwards accompany them with some music with my flute.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, Darja is very happy with that. And Lumi loves the playing as well. She does a little dance in Asleen style, which apparently involves a lot of kicks, and it's clear that the traditional women of Asleen wear pants because they're making the moves, the dance moves they do would be very hard to do with a long dress. Or at least the type of dresses that Olderlander and Islander women would wear.
No, perhaps if the attempts to form an alliance between the other kin in this area succeed, we can truly work together to drive off what taint remains in our lands together.
Alliance?
That is what we do. We are demon slayers.
But who can stand up against the Rust brothers, she says.
Well, we've done alright so far.
I wish you continued luck with that.
A true alliance of the various kin of these lands could stand up to them. They succeed based on the fractures between us.
Well,
like
maybe
the war between the orcs and the elves.
Maybe General Zertorm will be able to actually do that. If anyone can, it would be him. In fact, that is sort of where I'm going now, Amber's Peak.
Well, if you do find your way to the General, the Empress of the Uruk is also trying to bring her people back together and find ways of making peace with the other kin around.
Oh, really? The Empress of... Oh, so the orcs would join with the...
The Emperor's strong hand and the Empress's strong will.
Maybe then we could stand a chance after all.
You combine that with the elves' age and magic.
That would be powerful. But I've never heard of such a thing as all the kin working together.
Well, it's not completely impossible. Look at us.
I suppose so, you're right, yes.
It is a work in progress. As a group, we've also striven to start healing some of the wounds between the kin.
So you know now where I'm going. Where are you going?
Into the mountains.
Oh, well, we were up searching
for deeply buried demonic taint to try and root it out.
Continuing to play, I just scream out into the unknown.
Are you missing your Kristoff?
Demonic
or your
taint.
disco.
So you've heard of the Stone Loom Mines then, I suppose.
That is where we do intend to head.
Yeah, we camped there just recently. Not in the mines, obviously, but not too far from them.
Did you see any sign of Dwarfkin? Our friend here is hired us to
immediately
accompany
looking up, like, huh? No, I'm afraid I didn't.
Well, they could still be within just deeper within.
And that's where I made my friend, says Lumi again.
Really?
As I said, she has an active imagination. No, but it was really a little girl there. She talked to me. I heard her. She talked to me.
Tell me all
She
about
wanted to
it.
play with me.
This information could prove useful to us once we get there, in case there is something there.
And even if it was just imagination, I'm sure it would be a wonderful story. Tell me all about it.
Well, you see, I had a hard time sleeping because I had a rock under my back, and you know how that's hard on your back and it makes it hard to sleep, and I didn't have a nice... It wasn't like sleeping on grass on the plains, you understand. And so I don't like mountains very much. They're hard to walk in and sleep on. And so when I was trying to sleep, and I woke up, and my mom was still asleep, and then I heard a little girl who was laughing and saying, "Come play with me." And I sat up, and I couldn't see her, but I heard her. And then Mom woke up just when I was kind of sitting up and asking her who was there and what's your name. But she never said what her name was. She just said that she wanted to play. And she said that she was my friend. That she plays with all her friends.
That sounds like a wonderful friend, but I'm glad you listened to your mommy. Brainerd, do a lore check.
Rainer's not
Like
there.
There's the mines are deep, and you may have easily gotten lost down there.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't going to go into the mines. I suppose the voice came from the mines. Maybe she was inside.
It's possible, and it could have echoed away, so it's hard to tell. If you'd gone in, you may have gotten lost easily. So yes, it's good that you
Oh, but the
heeded
mines,
your mother.
they looked so scary. It's just a hole into the mountain. I wouldn't go in there alone.
That's a very good idea.
Well, we
But
know...
that was a wonderful story.
As I said, she has an active imagination. Just
We've encountered stranger things.
maybe, but a little girl in the mines.
The ghost of a little girl in the mines.
Something taking the form
That,
of a little girl.
I
and
suppose
whispering.
that could be it. Yes.
We need to go to the mines, so there's obviously halflings in the mines, so we need to rescue them.
Dwarves, says Ulm.
We have to rescue the dwarves from the halflings in the mines.
You didn't happen to have a child in your party, did you?
Hmm?
You didn't happen to have a child in your party, did you?
No. No, it's just Darja and Lumi who are out traveling.
No, I was asking if there was a,
No,
a child
no.
within the
Ulm.
dwarves.
No. Those were scouts and warriors and hunters. Yeah. No children on such a trip, no. In case the evil is still there.
I didn't think so. We don't know any legends about the mines being haunted or anything like that.
Other than the one that we're going to investigate, no.
Well, they say, Darya says that the family of the mad wizard Ziggopher fled there.
Did they have a child among them?
I think so. His daughter. I don't know if she was a
maybe.
child, though. The stories doesn't tell.
Just that she may have been corrupted for abandoning him.
Yes. Well, the story, the way I've heard it, was that she somehow was tainted by some demonic power and well, ate the dwarves that tried to keep her safe. But I don't know if she was a child or an adult when she got there.
Not all stories held true either.
This is true.
Could have been one of the rubies holding the elves' heart. Spoke to them.
True.
From a distance, they might sound small, like a child.
Most of them reach out during sleep unless you're attuned to them. But it is possible. Again, she was dozing.
I've heard of such things, but never seen or met something like that, says Darjo. Maybe that was it. Maybe if there is an elven ruby in the mine, that would... But how would it have gotten there? It's a dwarvish mine.
Many things happened during the ancient times.
True enough.
And leading to the blood mists and after.
True enough. The legends don't tell the entire story all the time.
As you said, Celestial, it could have also been something using the voice of a child.
You're right.
Precisely.
Well, I will thank you all for your kindness inviting me to your camp and your very delicious meal.
Of course.
And she bows, hand on her heart, the Asleen way. She seems to be one of the more traditional Asleens in how she behaves. And, we should.
I bow back in a way, you know.
We should be
touching forehead.
Going on our way to make the best use of the daylight if we are to get down to the river and get through these woods. The faster way back
Fortune on
to
your
the
journey.
place.
Rita just kind of gives a nod of her head.
Safe travels.
Enjoy the toy.
Thank you. Horn watch over you all, especially if you're going to the mines. And so they take their leave.
Rita seems to relax a little as they leave.
I am unsurprised.
They seem nice.
Their people hunt mine.
Kind of looks up at this and says, "They do what?"
Yeah, they hunt wolfkin for sport.
I
knew I seen something positive in them.
Not necessarily them, obviously, but Asleen people.
Their tribe has a history of it.
Yes.
And that's something that would have to be confronted if Soria is to forge a grand alliance.
Yes.
Ulm is looking a bit, uncomfortable of that, but Mog is kind of giving him eyes and going, well, there are many sins among the kin here, aren't there? And she's kind of just giving him the peek there with her words, just poking him a bit.
I'm not saying my kin is innocent by any means.
I'm just happy that I was able to prevent an excess of exuberance from an old-minded Red Runner.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard some stories, says Ulm, and looks down again.
And hopefully, maybe that little girl will grow up to change a few minds.
Admirable.
Well,
admirable
if
attitude.
they do make it to the general, the mother will also no doubt mention it because she'll have to account the whole tale.
Exactly.
I can see why Soria likes you. So you've spent a quarter day. The first quarter day. Soren wakes up.
What did I miss?
Visitors.
I'm glad I was asleep.
Obviously nothing important enough for us to wake you.
Raynor comes back holding a piece of carrot.
Raynar ate it on the way back.
Rita quickly chops the rest of it into the stew.
So Raynar, I couldn't bring anything to mind because I was still focusing inward while interacting with people. But, voice of a child trying to lure a child into the mines, yada yada, lore check?
La, whole story.
Full story, Lord check.
Yeah, I totally got this. It's about
Yeah.
It's a story of a squirrel.
ghosts and things.
Yes, the story indeed.
Ghostly voice in the mind.
Come play with me.
Trying to lure children into the mines.
That's
Well,
fine.
what
None of us are children.
I mean,
What
Big's
about the
over
mines?
We met some Asleens, and their child said a voice tried to get it to play with her.
there. Draw her into the mines.
It is possible that there still could be a child in there.
The child, you mean?
From when and what?
Marga, the whole reason why we're going.
Hence the child.
Oh, I thought that was an adult.
Well,
Well, she was the daughter, and the
it was
implication was
400-ish, give or take 100 years ago. Like, this was eons ago, and frankly, and Celestial, you can agree with me, we know some really old elves. She could have stayed a child for years, centuries
with
possibly.
A demonic taint.
Mm.
There's really only one way to find out.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that someone might try and lure us in if we sleep at the mouth of the cave.
I volunteer as not bait.
Is this like a Lilith from Supernatural kind of deal?
No, it's just
Blank face, see? Blank face.
That was an OOC Jess question, sorry.
OOC, blank face, see? Blank face.
It could just be a ghost who wants somebody to keep them company for eternity.
Yeah,
It could be.
Soren, you're probably right. Can I get some of that food? I'm starving. And you see the fact that he's currently got 1 empathy.
I will feed both Soren and Brennar.
There was 3 meat from the fox and 1 vegetable, so that's 4 food from the stew at this point. Did you have anything?
I could have put some of the leftover or some of the rations in it.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
To fill it out.
Yeah.
Just stretch it out one more, please.
I
Everybody
was gonna
gets.
say, I'm all up on that.
Everybody
Go
gets
ahead,
something.
I'm good with rations.
Mog is very happy to get some.
I still have wedding cake I need to use. It's starting to go a little off.
The sugars are turning to
Do
alcohol.
you still need empathy?
I'm good. I had a nap.
Oh, okay.
Well, the nap will track 1 of your damage tracks up, right? Not both.
But I had 2 naps. Because I slept.
Yes, this is true. You slept before and then you slept on the morning. This is true.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely true. Alright, if you're gonna make some travel during the afternoon as well, you'd better get on your way and you get up to the mountains if you do.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Your first trip into mountains.
Mountain Doom.
And this time, Soren knows exactly how to find the way.
Well, it's because he's feeling better about the fact that he avoided having to deal with people.
That's right. I slept
Okay,
through visitors.
so-
Excellent.
Just for your information, if I recall correctly, those high mountains there are virtually impassable, so you'll have to go around like so. Skirt around.
That's fine. That still puts us just like
Yes, it's
really close to the mine.
exactly. It's just another hex away. So you'd get there in the morning or by noon the next day. But just, for map reading purposes for the future, if it's a really high mountain like that, you can't go across it, which is why people have trouble leaving these forbidden lands.
So many high mountains.
Yes. Though it's not exactly clear to me where the limit between, mountains and high mountains goes from the legend, but I'll go with this for now. It seems like this is a bit higher.
Yep.
Anyway, who is
You will
scouting
die
this
if you
time?
Go to Zahadun.
This afternoon?
I guess that'll be me. Me. Oh, well, thank goodness. I am not pushing that and
was a
shattering my
success.
face and the spyglass.
That would be bad, yes, exactly. You find it actually kind of easier out here to use your spyglass because now you have lines of sight, even though they're broken up all the time by the mountain ranges and the rocky terrain. When you get to a high point somewhere, you have such a field of vision. Ulm, of course, feels right at home. This is mountains. This is the areas that his people once upon inhabited and lived in. And he will have quickened his pace as a result. Yeah, you're walking through up and down through crags and valleys and up mountainsides on this day, which is... I didn't do the weather roll. How can I not? It's actually raining a lot. You had such a nice weather yesterday, and now when you come up into the mountains and the clouds are gathering, and sure enough, it doesn't take more than about an hour for the weather to change because mountains. And you will soon be
I was going to say it wasn't a stew when she started making it, but it was by the time she was done.
It started as a roast.
Yeah.
It started as a roast. And it is pouring by the time that you want to make camp again, because, well, I mean, provided that you do want to make camp. If you press on for another quarter day, you would have to roll endurance and probably lose some sleep, but there we go.
Well, that'll only be our third quarter.
Yes, it
We
would be
just
our
would
third
have-
quarter.
I don't like the idea necessarily of sleeping outside the mines that might be haunted or demon infested.
There's that.
So
Make
I'm
a
sure
camp.
we can.
I have this strange feeling that when I wake up in the morning, my foot will be better.
Your foot is slowly coming around. Doesn't hurt as much anymore. Who's making camp then?
I can make camp.
We may want to make like a bit of a lean-to kind of thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we've got rocks to lean against.
Yeah, it's really annoying to travel in the mountains with the horses and stumbling and so on, trying to not break their legs. But you've managed to so far, and Soren makes an excellent camp, providing good cover for you. Finds that perfect little crag that gives you protection from the wind, and just putting up the tent in the right spot, and the rain can pour down as much as you like. You have a nice dry space. You just put some blankets and maybe some twigs and branches on the ground. Hey presto, a very nice camp that keeps you nice and dry even as the weather is bad outside. Who's scouting at this point? You never know what can happen in mountains.
Oh, you know who's scouting at this point.
In fact, I can give you an extra skill die for Ulm helping you out if you want it. You didn't need it this time, but there it is. And so the 26th, the 26th of Springrise comes to an end. You have had a delicious meal cooked by your amazing chef. You've met some nice people today for a change. And you have below you, as you've climbed these slopes, you can see the vast arena forest stretch out below you for kilometers, as far as the eye can see, just about. Possibly how far is the how far is the line of sight from a mountain? Well, in the rain you don't have that long. When it clears up, maybe you could see the river glistening in the distance, perhaps. Is anyone keeping watch at night?
Well, I imagine.
Is there still a quarter day while tent was being set up and
Yeah.
scouting and all that?
Yeah. Yeah, you can use that if you want to go out and forage and stuff. If you want.
All right, I'm gonna try and learn a talent.
Okay. what talent?
I'm gonna take the fox pelt out and.
Oh, he's gonna try and
Tanner.
animate it.
Yeah, necromancy.
Or you're going for necromancy. Do you have
Yeah.
Do you have enough XP for that?
I do, because
Okay.
first thought is 3 times 3 for 9.
Yeah.
So, yep.
But he still has to succeed.
You're gonna reanimate.
And
the
that's a
fox?
wits, right?
Yeah.
Are you pushing?
That was big anyway. There you go.
Oh, look at that. Brennar, look at him go.
The wolf pelt gets up and starts dancing.
The fox pelt. The wolf
It
pelt would be even
moves.
scarier.
Box.
It moves.
Talking about yourself
Those
now.
unnatural energies, you infuse it.
I throw
and it
up.
twitches. He is really defiling the natural order of things here.
Right. Dude, Brenner, how'd you do that?
You called on the unnatural energies.
That's kind of cool.
It's dark and tainted.
I
So
broke
is Frida,
Celestial.
apparently.
Exactly.
And we're not talking about his rear.
That is,
But listen, so many people have called Frida a demon or
No, no.
demon created.
Disturbing the eternal rest of the dead.
We have a giant walking thing that's, interpreted
Should not
as a
be.
demon. We have a small walking thing that could be interpreted as a demon. Yeah, we're great. Let's do this.
there's 4 necromancy spells on level 1. None of them actually allows you to raise anything from the dead.
Yeah, I'd probably contaminate.
Yes, you're contaminating that meat, which
Yep, just to go ahead and test it.
yeah.
Yeah, so you watch it like disintegrate.
Yeah,
You
the
broke my
food
pelt, dude.
the food was like nice and fresh, and before Frida's very wise, it turns putrid and stinking with
I thought he was using the
mold
pelt,
and
not my
green.
meat.
Well, the meat that was left on the pelt and the pelt itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you destroyed my pelt.
Listen, I'll make you another one. This
You
is
don't
fine.
do so well at hunting, though.
You mean I'll catch another one?
It's fine.
To be fair, given the rain and everything, the pelt was just going to rot anyway. There's no way that we could have stretched it out to dry it. So
Thank you, Soren.
Yeah,
Oh, I
you
didn't
didn't have to use friggin' necromancy. Oh.
I mean, that's as unnatural as fuck. But
It is very unnatural. It's the kind of thing that villagers will burn a sorcerer for.
so
Has been known to
maybe
happen.
let's not do that in town.
Yep.
I won't let any villages burn you. You're more likely to burn them down.
Get enough of them and they will, though.
Oh, just so we're clear, if he pulls that shit in town, I'm going to be helping him find kindling.
Because it's not only the fact that you can do it, it's the fact that you're willing to do it in such a place.
Mhm.
That's that.
Who is keeping watch in the night?
I think Big rolled.
Oh, big
Poorly,
roll. Oh,
but
yes.
roll.
Yes, you
You
did.
could push it. You didn't have any bad.
You could push it if you want.
All right, let me try.
I mean, you also have Mog who could, I suppose.
Yeah.
But Big
Mog
is
could, Mog
fine
could
to volunteer.
secretly keep watch.
Exactly.
Use the NPCs.
Big did volunteer, so there you go. Ah.
Oh well, point of willpower.
Yep. Well, if something bad were to happen to you this night, you'll be caught unawares. Luckily enough for you, nothing bad happened. You will probably notice that Big is napping when you're waking up in the morning after.
And that's
big.
the most realistic description of my scouting.
Yeah. I mean, that's just hashtag big right there.
Rita kind of taps her with her toe. Weren't you supposed to be keeping watch?
Nothing attacked me, so I did my job.
So that's how. That's how.
It's still raining this morning, but not as much, not nearly as much as it was the other day. And yeah, so that means it's easier for you to make your way where you want to go.
So yeah, so we're not going to have time for a fancy breakfast or anything. We'll eat on the road, and hopefully we can get to the mines fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Very good. Cern is losing some of that
Oh,
food
wow.
and water. Gunner is fine.
How are you losing water when it's raining so hard?
He's just guzzling it, thinking he's gonna refill it right away.
Probably. Everyone else is fine. So is Ulm and Mog. Yep, everyone is except Frida. You will lose some of that water.
See, Frida?
Exactly.
Totally karma.
Yep.
Get smart, get smarted.
And you lead the way, and you do it well.
My food is fine.
And of course, at this point, when you come this far up to the mines, Ulm will help you, because he does know the way to the mines themselves, now that you're in the mountains.
He knows the way to Tipperary.
That too.
Oh, I forgot my...
Yes, you did. Your looking glass.
Well, on the bright side, I figured out how to do that for... Oh, wow!
That's not good.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to... I'm gonna friggin' force that and take
Looks
the
like
damage.
Mog smudged the lens.
Yeah. She hasn't used it.
Okay, I at least got the one, but now I need to get this fixed up a little bit.
Yep.
Again. And get me fixed up a little bit.
Again?
But back to half willpower filled.
Indeed.
Okay.
You will probably need those willpower points soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna. Why? No, it's the mine is completely
counterspell
abandoned.
brain
There's
on.
nothing in there. You've walked all this way for nothing, right? Right? That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Raynar will be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Rainer knows what he's doing.
Because I'll counterspell him when he starts to cross the line.
Worst case
That's how he'll be
scenario,
just fine.
Frida will keep him in line.
Worst case on Terror, he'll be the premier.
By the time it's getting to about noon, it's a light rain. Sometimes you're actually inside the clouds. You're that high up, and other times you're just below them, and they're just seems like you can reach them with your hand and touch them. You're that high up.
Frida reaches up and tries.
Well, every once in a while she'll succeed. You're very close to the cloud cover here. And for those of you who haven't been up mountains before, it's possibly a bit intimidating to be this high above the plains and woods below. The woods below.
Thank goodness that I learned before adventuring with you guys how to see things from heights like these.
Mm-hmm. And Ulm will find the path, the old dwarven path that was once a road. And you can tell that this has been engineered. It was a wide road, but now weather, wind has cracked it. There's so many bushes and little brambles that stick out between old stones. It's still passable enough for you to walk. And together with Soren and Ulm at the helm, you will follow this path. and it twists and turns. You can't see very far here. You can see maybe at most 30-40 meters before it twists and turns again between the outcroppings and the shoulders, the mountain shoulders that it's turning around, until at last you can look up and Ulm points and you can see the entrance to the mines that gapes there like a toothless mouth. And from this distance you can also see there's some flight of stairs that goes up there, and there is a gate, or there was. One half of it is missing, the other hangs on a massive hinge. It was made of really sturdy oak. And there it is, the entrance to the Stone Loom mines. And here we are,
I was
10
going
to
to say
11.
the time's going to come up.
So this is the perfect place to end tonight's session. And in 2 weeks, we will see whether there is the ghost of a little girl in that
Or if it's just
mine.
demon-infested
Or
monstrosities.
if it's just even worse.
Just so I don't forget for next time, who all has torches? Does everybody have torches?
I would
No.
hope so. Oh wow, I stocked up on everything before we
No.
left either rows.
I would think you did, yes. You
Yeah.
knew
I
I
very
mean, I can cast light, and I bought a got a D12 of torches.
Nope.
Alright, so we have ways to see, because I know Braynar has a lantern.
Yes, you have
Yeah.
plenty of
His
Okay.
focus lantern.
Okay,
such material.
Well, focus lantern, focus torch, same thing.
okay, perfect. If Big doesn't have any torches, I'll give her some.
Thank you.
And I will try to arrange so that the maps will be properly with dynamic lighting and everything. So when
Well, like
we-
I said, I think as long as you get like our tokens in place in advance, it will work better.
Yeah, I hope so. It'll be the first experiment using dynamic lighting like this, so be gentle with me if you will. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
it's-
some really good Roll20 dynamic lighting tutorials on YouTube.
yeah, I've looked some over and toyed around with them a little bit. I just don't know how it works live. when we're actually with players and all. But we'll see. I'll figure it out. But it will be
Say.
this group's first official dungeon crawl. How is that? Yeah,
That is exciting.
it is.
I'm sure it will go fine.
It'll go. There will not be any problems at all. Of course not.
No.
Nothing ever goes wrong the first time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
This entire group just has trouble magnets.
No.
there is also no
There's curiosity here too.
special epilogue for us tonight because they only spent 1 day last time we played the session. So the all the messengers and stuff that's happening behind the scenes, they just kind of walked a little bit, and the shadow players are like, keep moving forward, everyone. I think they will have to get used to things being a bit slow during the dungeon crawl, because that might just take a little bit of time. No, I mean,
might.
you'll explore it in 5 minutes and be done, right? Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yes, that's how it's gonna work.
It's not going to be like 3
3
days,
sessions later.
3 sessions.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Thank you for playing, everyone. Thank you for watching,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll
Thanks,
see what the
folks.
Stone
Thank you.
Young Minds have in store for us next time.
Tune in next time.
Exactly.
Next
For
time,
more for the big bankruptcy.
Why is it always a big?
All right.
Or does our party go Frida in the mines?
Hey, I thought I was gonna have to take on a troll, and you guys did it for me. Apparently, when the caster gets scared, the fighter doesn't have to do anything.
Exactly.
We were inspired by your rousing failed intimidate.
My intimidate went just fine.
It did. Unfortunately, it was a troll. All right.
that's just it. Everybody thinks you have to be afraid of barbarians when they get angry, but it's the casters.
It's the
really
casters.
is.
True.
It's the casters. Yeah, that was some epic damage there. I had no idea how that was going to go, but I'll tell you, it was a good thing that you brought it down before it had a chance to take a swipe, because, yeah,
I didn't want to see what its monster rolls were.
No, me either. I was not looking forward to being
I'm
hit.
sure we'll have another chance at that.
Oh, no doubt.
All right.
But hopefully we'll have more
Thanks, folks.
by then.
Thank you.
Night.
See you guys. Good night.
Bye.